Good morning. I am Clay T. White, a licensed spiritual practitioner. Welcome to our community meditation. Today, this meditation contains words of divine right action, beautiful music, and long stretches of silence to allow you to commune with spirit. So please turn off your cell phones and go within. Breathe deeply, relaxing your shoulders and allowing that to signal your body to relax. The living Spirit Almighty animates everything I do, say, and think. Ideas come to me, and these are divine ideas. They direct me and sustain me without effort. I am continuously guided. I am led to do the right thing, to say the right word, and to follow the course of divine right action at all times. I am a center of spiritual living. My affairs are divinely guarded and guided into divine right action. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There is power in the word I speak. There is perfect and continuous right action in my life and in my affairs. Divine right action alone has power, is power, and this power is God. I am one with the Almighty. Often during the day and even at night when I awake, I remind myself that I am a center of spiritual living. My affairs are divinely guarded and guided into divine right action. There is power in the word I speak. There is perfect and continuous right action in my life and in my affairs. Divine right action has power. is power. This power is God. This power is within me. I stand on holy ground. Divine ideas come to me without effort. I am led to do the right thing, to say the right word, to follow the course of divine right action. God and I are one. I am consciously aware of the all-powerful presence, the everlasting presence. The kingdom is within. I stand on holy ground. And now I invite you to come back into our sacred space. Thank you for joining us in our community meditation. Our service begins in about 15 minutes at 10 o'clock.
so high. Feet on the ground, but I still get by. The rules were made for someone else to try, but not me, not me. They said slow down, son, take your time. But I was born running every stop sign. Sky is the limit, no chance to hold. Sky is the limit, I'm breaking the mold. Sky is the limit, I'm out of control tonight. Every doubt just feeds the flame. Every scar reminds me why I came. I've been broke, I've been blessed, carry faith in an empty chest. Till now, the stars are down like good old friends. Saying, boy, don't stop where the sky just ends. Sky is the limit, no chance to hold. Sky is the limit, I'm breaking the mold. Sky is the limit, I'm out of control tonight.
Here we go. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. That's the whole thing. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything. Here's your magic wand. Sing with me now. God is my source. It says you can sing. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything. All right, let's declare some joy. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Let's talk about peace is my source. Peace is my power. Everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything. All right, what about love now? Let's do love. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything, everything that I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings.
Yes.
Everything. Let's go back to God now. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything, everything that I need. So I give thanks for my blessings, everything I need. Do it
So when I go to
again.
this,
God is my
this black right here, that goes
source.
to the.
God is my power. Put your hands together. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything, everything that I need. God is my source. God's my power. Everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my source.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Laura, and it is my pleasure to be here on this beautiful, warm day here in Las Vegas. Excessive heat warnings today, folks, so just remember that. Stay cool, stay out of the heat if you can. Enjoy yourself immensely that way. I want to say hi to some people I haven't seen in a while. Welcome back. Glad to see you. I see a couple of new faces here today. Welcome. I'm glad to have you here with us. I want to say hi to the people we can't see. So if you would turn and wave at that window back there. Our YouTube channel is live and broadcasting right now. And so if it's ever too hot for you to get out, you can always watch us online. Although we'd really love to have your company here with us. Builds that energy in person. We're going to kick it off this morning with some music. What are we singing?
Yes, In This Together, your tune,
Oh, my
Reverend
song.
Laura.
All right, In This Together.
Yes.
Would you stand and join me? We're going to sing. The words are on the screen.
Yeah, it's coming up.
We are in this together, breathing in and letting go, finding strength in one another, learning how to let love show. We are in this together, hand in hand and soul to soul, in the silence, in the prayer, in the love we are whole. Here we stay, held in love along the way. Here we stay, held in love along the way. We're in this together, no one ever walks alone. We are held by something greater than the fears that we have known. We are in this together, side by side and soul to soul, in the breaking, in the healing, in the love we are whole. Here we stay, held in love along the way. Here we stay, held in love along the way. We're in this together. We are in this together.
Good morning, my friends. At this time, greet your neighbor if you're comfortable doing so.
Good morning,
That was quick and easy today. Very nice. Thank you. Wonderful energy here today. And we're going to go a little deeper right now with our invocation and our affirmation, brought to us today by our practitioner, Clay T. White. accompanied by some music from Justin, and then followed by a wonderful song from David. So, Clay T.
So first, our affirmation. Together, every attribute of the divine is mine now, and
as
I am in complete unity with all of creation. Thank you, Sheila. You want to do it again?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it again. Louder, with fun, okay? Energy. Every attribute of the divine is mine now, and I am in complete unity with all of creation. That was much better. Thank you so much.
The one is ever seeking to manifest itself through you. Glorious power forever breathing through you and me. The one, let's sing now. The one is ever seeking to manifest itself through you. Glorious power forever breathing through you and me.
I realize that there is a divine presence at the center of my being, the center of our being. I let this recognition flow through my entire consciousness. I rejoice in this realization, and I move and work and rest and play in this consciousness. I permit my physical body to receive the living spirit in all of my actions as it functions perfectly in each cell and each organ. The joy of this spirit is the joy of my life. It is my strength, my power. I allow this joy to bubble over into divine amusement and fun. Divine fun. I am happy. I am divinely happy. I am so grateful. And so it is.
Let's sing it now. The one is ever seeking to manifest itself through you. Glorious power forever breathing through you and me. Ooh, the one. Oh.
Imagine what you want, then get out of the way. Remember, energy follows thought, so be careful what you say. Be careful what you ask for. Make sure it's really what you want, because your mind is made for thinking, and energy follows thought. Thank you.
Trying to juggle all these balls.
Ah, thank you, David. I love it when I hear something and the guys make it happen. Guess who wrote that song? Nope. Willie Nelson. Who knew he was metaphysical, right? Who knew that? All right, today is one of my favorite kind of days because I get to combine science and spirituality and play. And what can be better than that, right? Did you all get a Slinky when you came in? All right, if you didn't get one, make sure you get one on the way out. And if there's extra ones and you want another one and you want to give it to somebody else to remind them of this, give it to them and tell them to watch the YouTube channel. That's their price for it. All right. So, as you might guess, we are talking about the Slinky effect today. How many of you remember Slinkies when you were a kid? Yeah, most of you in here should, because they were invented in 1943. 1943, there was a man named Richard James who was a mechanical engineer for the Navy, worked at the Navy shipyards. And his job was to design a system that would support the delicate instruments on ships without them being damaged by the waves. And so he was working with springs. He was working with lots of different kinds of springs to get them so that they would be effective in what he was working with. And so he was working with this little metal spring here. It looks something like this one here. And the story goes that he set it on the shelf, and somebody bumped the shelf, and it went off the shelf. And you know what Slinkies do when they go off something? They walk. And so he was very intrigued by it. That wasn't supposed to happen. There we go. He was very intrigued by this thing, and so he set about trying to find the best way to do that. And then once he developed it, it really wasn't practical for Navy ships to hold their instruments because it moved too much. And so he decided this would be a perfect toy because he had 6 children at home, and they had a ball playing with his springs that he had created there. And so this is a prime example of how wonderful things happen when something doesn't go quite the way you planned it. You know, we have this idea of creating things, and we think we know exactly what we're going to create every time we create it, but then sometimes things go a little awry, and they don't come out exactly the way you want them to. And so, as I said, in 1943, Richard James invented this. Well, funny thing about this, now I'm using Slinkies as a spiritual metaphor, but in 1960, Richard James had a spiritual awakening. And he ran away from home and his 6 children and his wife and moved to a commune in Bolivia. I wouldn't call it a cult, but because I don't know what it is. But anyway, we learned he was working with spirituality there. I just think it's kind of funny that someone who invented such a wonderful spiritual tool actually decided to take part in a spiritual undertaking there. So anyway, his wife, Betty, is the one who gave it the name Slinky, because she was looking for a name that meant something that moved with fluidity, something that was graceful, something that flowed, or something that was sinuous. And when she looked it up in the dictionary, Slinky was the word that came up. Now, I don't think of Slinky as sensuous or graceful, but that's what, according to the Oxford Dictionary at the time, that's what it was. And so as I said, evolution doesn't always go the way we plan it, the way we think it's going to work. Sometimes we have shifts and changes along the way. And there's an element of surrender that happens whenever we're dealing with any kind of innovation or any kind of new idea. We have to surrender a little bit to let what is wanting to emerge come through. And so that was what Richard James and his wife Betty discovered there. The Slinky was discovered because something fell, because an accident happened. Something fell off the shelf, and something wonderful was created from that. So instead of seeing that fall of the Slinky as the end of the story, it's actually just the beginning of a new journey for any kind of creation there. You know, I asked David to sing that song, Energy Follows Thought, because that's what's happening with the Slinky here. So I have a really big one. I bought this one thinking I could hold it up. I can't hold this thing. It's huge. So I have a small one that I can hold. But if I have a thought that I'm going to touch this, then the energy is going to follow what I touch. So the energy follows the thought that I have. The thought is coming from my mind to touch it, and then the energy in it follows. The same thing when we work with the Slinky like this and the ones you have. I can think a little bit, move my hand, and the energy is going to follow the movement of the Slinky. And if I keep the energy small, I have small movement. But if I make my energy bigger, I have bigger movement. I have larger movement in there. And so as we learn to work with this idea of energy and thought and movement, we can learn to change our experiences by changing the intensity of the thought, by changing the quality of the thought and the intensity that it has. And so as we're looking at this from our metaphysical point of view here, we understand that, as we talked about last week, life doesn't happen in a straight line. I'm sorry, it's not like one of those pie charts or those graphs where, you know, we start down here and everything just gets better all the way up, right? We don't have a life like that. We have a life that, you know, does this, or as we say here, it does this. It is constantly moving around, constantly moving up that spiral. And so everyone expects spiritual growth to be more linear. They expect, okay, if I'm going to start this endeavor, if I'm going to start to learn this spirituality, you know, I'm going to improve every day. You know, I'm not going to have to deal with all this other stuff because I'm going to clear it away, right? Anybody ever had that experience? Why am I dealing with this again? No. The spiral journey returns us to familiar places, but remember, as we talked about last week, it returns us to a familiar place at a higher level of consciousness. And it up-levels our spiritual practices as we are doing that too. So every time we move up, our outlook on that situation, that experience that feels so familiar, is a little bit different. We're seeing it from a little higher level of consciousness than we were before. And because our spiritual practices are being up-leveled right along with our consciousness, we are able to handle those situations better. We're able to deal with them a little more quickly, or to see through to the truth of it a little more easily than we had before. But we do come back. We think we've cleared away all the fears we have in our life, and then something shows up just to awaken that fear again in us. But we're a little wiser this time. We can handle the fear a little bit better. We think we've forgiven, right? Anybody here think they've forgiven everything they need to forgive? Yeah. As an avid practicer of forgiveness, no. It's always coming back. But guess what? I get to move through it quicker. I get to see that, oh yeah, I need to forgive here. And I get to understand that sometimes I don't even need to know exactly what it is I'm forgiving. But the practice of forgiving is enough in this situation to move me into a higher level of consciousness. We think we've suffered all the losses we can possibly suffer. And then something happens in our lives. We lose a job, or a relationship, or we get an illness, or we have a family member pass away. And we think we've dealt with all the grief we could possibly deal with. But we get to deal with it a little differently, a little more mindfully, a little more wisely, a little more compassion for ourselves as we're moving through the grief. And so these things continue to happen in our lives, but we handle them in a higher level of consciousness each time. Our evolution is progressive. It is not repetitive. The situations can feel repetitive, But our evolution has taken us to a higher place in consciousness where we're not experiencing it the same way we did before. There may be familiar aspects of it, but we have evolved. We have changed in consciousness. We've up-leveled ourselves to where we can handle it differently. Spirit never wastes any experiences. Trust me, Spirit knows exactly what it's doing all the time. Every turn of this spiral, every time we move up that spiral of evolution, every time a wave of the Slinky moves just a little bit, we are changed. We are changed in our evolution every single time. And so as David sang in his song, energy follows thought. Ernest Holmes says this in The Science of Mind. Consciousness sets the creative law in motion. Consciousness, energy, intention, thought sets the creative law in motion. And the creative law, remember, that's the middle part of our V here. That's the middle section of our V. That's the part that responds equally. It doesn't judge. It doesn't figure out which one you should have and which one you shouldn't have. It simply responds. The creative law responds to our thoughts. And so as we improve our thoughts, as we up-level our thoughts, as we move up that spiral in consciousness, our thoughts shift. And so the response then feels different. And it's not because God thinks it's a better idea. And it's not because I've done something to deserve having a good thing in my life. It's simply the way the law works. Consciousness sets the creative law in motion. Our thoughts create the energy behind the things that are happening for us. And so it's not about having giant miracles happen to us all the time, but it's about gradually changing the way we look at things, the way we think about things. It's gradually evolving our consciousness so that we have a different experience of it. And so if we look at it, we start with an idea, an intention. You know, every year at the beginning of the year or at the end of the last year, wherever, somewhere around the end of the year, we do an intention setting service here, and we set an intention for the year. And so as we do that, we have then put that consciousness into motion. And so the intention then creates the motion. And when the motion happens, we get movement. Something begins to shift in our life. As David sang in his song, be careful what you wish for, because you might just bring that into your life. You know, so it's about clarifying what it is we really want to experience in our life. That does not mean that every time we have a negative thought, that thought's going to manifest itself for us. But look at the preponderance of your thoughts. Look at how often you are thinking gloom and doom ideas versus uplifting and life-affirming ideas. And so as we think about that's the intention and the motion that then creates the movement. It inspires us to move. It inspires us to do things. We set an intention, and it's different than setting a resolution, because a resolution is like, I'm going to exercise 3 times a week for the rest of the year, and then, you know, I do it once the first week and maybe once the second week, and it's like, yeah, I'm done. That's a whole different thing. But an intention starts to work inside me. It starts to really dig in and create that momentum that makes things possible, that makes the shifts in our lives possible. And so if we think about this again, like I said with the Slinky, if I have a small intention, I have small movement. If I don't put much energy into the intention, there's not much movement in the Slinky. But when I put more energy into it, when I really begin to bring that into my experience in greater and greater ways, I get a more powerful movement in my Slinky. And so you can think about this as you're working with some of these ideas in your life. How much energy am I putting into this? And is this something I really want to be putting energy into? Or is this the thing that I'm not wanting to bring into my life? You know, we have to look at it both ways. And so as we are dealing with the different situations in our lives, look at the intention behind it. Look at the power behind it. Look at the motivation and the movement and the things that we are putting into action in each of our experiences. Once that movement is initiated in the process here, it creates effects throughout the entire system of it. I can't move one part of this Slinky. I can't move it without something else moving because it's all connected. I can think I'm just moving this one first ring on here, but you can see everything else comes right along with it. And so once I create that, it brings that motion into action in the experience there. And so everything is connected in the entire system there. Now, here's the thing about motion and movements and intention. Sometimes they're disturbing. Sometimes we have to have a disturbance to shake things up. I mean, if I think about this, if I don't want to disturb things, my Slinky sits on the shelf like this. I have to disturb it to get anything to happen. I have to create some kind of momentum in there to make anything happen in there. I can simply turn it upside down and create momentum that way. Rather drastic momentum. How many times do you feel like your life has been turned upside down? Drastic change, right? I think I'd rather do a little subtle change. Anybody else with me on that? I'd rather have it not be quite so drastic, but it does take us disturbing the status quo for things to begin to shift. We have to make a movement for things to shift in our life. We can't just simply sit around and have the thought without letting the energy follow it. The thought's wonderful, and we can sit and mentally contemplate thoughts all day long and never experience a change in our life. There has to be a little bit of movement, a little bit, something set into motion to make that happen. So we have to have something that disturbs us. But let's face it, sometimes the disturbance is really a mess. I mean, there are times in our lives when things are just like I could do without a little less disturbance today. You know, there are days on our spiritual journey where it looks like this ever upward spiral is this tangled up mess, where we just can't even figure out what the beginning or the end is. And when this journey, or when our journey gets all tangled up, like when the Slinky gets tangled here, it doesn't stop being a Slinky. It doesn't stop being a spiritual journey. It just has to be approached a little differently than we have in the past. The essential nature hasn't changed, but the way that we deal with it has to shift. The way that we deal with it. The spiral is still there, but it just simply distorted out of shape. And so these are times when the grief and the fear and the disappointment and the doubt and the worry and the hardship and all of those things come into play. Our spiral can feel like it's tangled up mess like this. Sometimes just simply being human can make us feel all tangled up, where we really haven't done anything or we really haven't experienced any of these griefs or hardship or things like that, but we still feel like we're a tangled up mess in our lives. We often feel like we failed somehow, or we are not spiritual enough. Love that one. Let's beat ourselves up for that. We think we may have lost our way and we'll never find it. We'll never get back on track again. But perhaps we haven't lost the path at all. Perhaps we're just looking at it in its messiness instead of seeing any kind of solution. The divine pattern within that doesn't disappear just because it feels tangled up and messy. Sometimes our response to life is, to a tangled up life, is to apply more force to it. Anybody ever had a necklace that was all knotted up, like a really fine chain? Yeah. And we start to untangle it, and then at some point we get frustrated and we pull on the darn thing, right? And what happens? The knot gets tighter, right? So when we try to apply force to some of our situations, we try to fix it, try to make it work in our lives, sometimes it gets worse. Sometimes it feels even worse in our lives. Force can tighten things up so much, but grace loosens it up. If we can apply a little grace to the situation, a little grace to ourselves, be a little kinder to ourselves. Sometimes grace looks like setting the thing aside for a while and coming back to it later. Sometimes grace looks like taking it one strand at a time and figuring out where the problem is. So if we had a Slinky like this, hopefully yours won't ever look like that. I have had them that way as a child, but I can tell you that. But hopefully it won't look that way for you. But if it does, how do you approach that? Do you start pulling on it in all different directions? Or do you find that starting coil? Find where it all began. And begin working on that one spot. Loosening that one spot. Trying to find out how I got this way and which way do I need to move it to untangle it. You work patiently and diligently and kindly at one coil at a time. And so when we have this tangled up mess, we don't have to solve the entire thing all at once. When our lives feel tangled up, we don't have to fix everything all at once. Find that one little thing that we can start with. That one thing that I can do today. And sometimes that one thing that we can do today is, I'm going to get out of bed and take a shower. Sometimes that's all we can do that day. And that's absolutely okay. What a wonderful first step that is in untangling the mess that our lives can become. And then we think, what's the next loving thing I can do for myself? Well, for me, it'd be fixing a nice cup of coffee. What's the next loving thing I can do for myself? Sit in a chair and hold my dogs. What's the next loving, kind thing I can do for myself? Call a friend. Think of the thing, what is the next loving thing I can do for myself? What is the next honest conversation I need to have? Because generally we're not in this alone. I think we have a song about that, in this together. Yeah, I think we just sang that. What's the next honest conversation I need to have? What is it I need to say to get me from being so untangled up inside? What's the next healthy choice I can make for my body? Am I choosing good food to eat? Am I getting some movement? Am I taking that shower? What is the next healthy thing I can do for my body? What is the next prayer I can either ask for or give myself? What is the next thing I need to surrender to God and ask for the help to solve that problem? God is constantly working, but it only works for us when we ask. We have to take that step forward, and God will respond. Sometimes that step forward is a simple thought. I don't want to do this anymore. And God responds. Our practitioners are one of the best resources we have here for helping you find that response from Spirit. Please call on them. Ask them for prayer. And they'll be happy to support you in that. Constantly looking for the next step I need to take in my evolution, in my spiritual journey, in my route to untangling my life as it is. I don't have to figure out the whole thing today. I just have to be available to what's coming through to me at this moment. And sometimes, when we've got this tangled up mess, we need another pair of hands. We need somebody there to support us. Notice I said support us. I didn't say fix us. We need somebody there to walk the path with us. We need somebody there to create a space of listening. A place where I feel safe to express who I am. In all of my vulnerability, in all of my tangled up messiness, we all need somebody to support us with that. And that's why spiritual communities like this are so wonderful. I've already mentioned our practitioners. They're some of the best support you could ever get. Go to some of our sacred circles, our small groups. Support is there available for you. People to walk the path with you, especially if you don't have that person in your own home. Reach out, find somebody to support you in this. We aren't meant to untangle everything alone. We're meant to be communal animals. That's how we were designed in the beginning. There's all kinds of reasons for that. There's all kinds of science behind that. But we are meant to be in community with each other. We are not asking the people in our lives to become Slinky repairmen. We don't need that. There is not one person in this room that needs to be fixed. It took me a long time to realize that I wasn't one of those people that needed to be fixed. But the truth is, none of us do. We are all on this ever upward spiral of evolution. And we're in different places on it. And so we have different experiences. And we have different ways of handling those experiences. But none of us needs to be fixed. And so we look at these tangles as not necessarily setbacks, but as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to spiral up, an opportunity to understand something at a higher level of consciousness than we understood before. As an opportunity to find that small place where I can move, where I can apply a little energy to the thoughts that I'm having to create a change in my life. Instead of thinking, why have I dealt with this before? Why am I back here again? Or even worse, why is this happening to me again? Stop thinking, I should be more evolved than this. Just stop that nonsense right now. We are all on our path and we're where we're supposed to be. If we were supposed to be somewhere else, I guarantee you we would be. We are here on this path of evolution, and it's a natural unfoldment. Just remember, your Slinky is going to get tangled. Somewhere along the way, it's going to get tangled up. These little plastic ones may even break, I'm telling you right now. But when it does, don't throw it away. Let that be part of the teaching too. Let that be part of your learning process. Let that be a part that demonstrates you spiraling up in consciousness. So if it breaks, keep part of it. Or keep the two pieces so that it can remind you that you are on this ever upward spiral of evolution. You are constantly setting things in motion. And the world will respond to the motion that you set forth. Just like the Slinky responds when we touch it. The world will respond to the energy behind your thoughts. And so be careful what you're thinking. Our spiritual journey is not sustained by giant leaps, but by faithful, grace-filled steps. Small incremental steps. Small movement. Small movement creates subtle change. Subtle changes are gentle. Those big disturbances are not quite so gentle for us. Think about that in your life. What subtle changes can I make here? The ultimate goal of life does not mean that we are going to arrive at a spiritual destination perfect. We are not going to arrive there with all of our problems solved. We are on an ever upward expansion in consciousness. And so as we expand ever upwardly, we create different situations for ourselves that we need to deal with as we move on up that spiral. That which to our present understanding seems like the ultimate goal. When we get to that point, we will discover that we are just at a starting point for something new. We think we've arrived, but we've only gone back to the beginning. Because, as I said, we are spiraling up. And so each time we reach a new height, there's another mountaintop to explore, another thing that we can conquer in our world. We are on an ever upward spiral of evolution. And so some of the things that we can do that with this is, one of the things you can do with this Slinky is reminding yourself of some of this. On the paper that I gave you, you have this stuff written out on the blog today. But one of the things we can do is to move one coil at a time. Just move one coil. And remind yourself that every small act of kindness creates a ripple that I can't see. Because we know that if we move one coil, others are going to follow, right? Moving one coil as you move the next coil. What did I do? I did something. Okay, I got backwards on my things. There we go. As I move towards love, every part of my life responds. That's the first one. And then every small act of kindness creates a ripple I cannot see. And finally, Spirit is always unfolding through me, one graceful step at a time. So use the Slinky. Keep it on your desk or your altar or your table or wherever it is that you sit and contemplate things. And begin to see what you can uncover in your life that may be the next great step for you. Spirit is always unfolding through you, one graceful step at a time. And so the other thing you can do is ask some questions as you move the Slinky, as you work with it. So what is this one small movement that I'm making today going to change in my life? How is it inviting me to change something that I've already experienced and look at it in a different way? Or where am I being called to trust that the momentum of Spirit is already at work here? Or how can I become a ripple of love in someone else's life? These and other questions are great to contemplate, to sit with. Take your Slinky in your hand and play with it, asking yourself these questions. Where can I become a ripple of love in someone else's life? What momentum am I building in my life right now? What am I wanting to unfold for me as movement in my life? And then always close with gratitude, sincere gratitude. Be grateful for what has been revealed to you in each moment. Be grateful for the transformation that you know is happening, even if you can't see it yet. Every prayer, every act of compassion, every choice to live from our highest self sends a wave of transformation through our lives. Every time we engage in a simple, playful, spiritual practice, we are setting in motion a shift in our lives. We are setting in motion something that is transformative. And so this week, don't worry about trying to change your whole life. If it feels like that tangled up mess, find that one coil that you can start with, that one place that you can start to untangle. And just move from one coil to the next. Spirit will take care of the rest of it. You don't have to worry about it. Ernest says, the word of Spirit sets its purpose in motion through the law. The word of Spirit. The spiritual truth, the things that we tell ourselves, is the word of Spirit. We think we have to hear it from God. No, it's something that's coming up from inside of us. It is bubbling up from us. The word of God. Spiritual growth has momentum. Stuckness has momentum. Which momentum are you wanting to create in your life? Are you wanting to activate the growth? Are you okay being stuck? Neither's wrong. Sometimes we just need to be stuck for a while. It gives us a time to rest, reflect. And so what word of Spirit are you wanting to set into motion today? What word of Spirit is wanting to come forth from you today? Today we are going to do what we call a prayer wall. And so I have a bunch of words of Spirit. Which one of these words of Spirit do you want to set in motion today? Which one of these are you activating in your life? Take a moment and contemplate that while I move my stuff out of the way. I got through the whole service without dropping that thing, and that's amazing. So I'm going to invite our practitioners to come up. Just a few today. Oh, boy. You know what? Let's do this a little differently today. I didn't realize we'd only have so few. It would take us 30 minutes to get through a prayer wall this way. So let's surround the sanctuary. we're going to do what we call a chamber prayer. And in this chamber prayer, I'm going to invite you to call out your word of prayer, your word of spirit here. Chamber prayer is when we all stand around and we pray out loud together. And I'm going to invite the practitioners to pray out loud. Otherwise, all you're going to do is hear me. And you hear me a lot anyway. And sometime during the realization stage, I'm going to ask you to call out your word of power, to speak it forth. And I want you to speak it forth with conviction, with authority, with knowing that this is your word of power. This is your truth. This is why you're here today and what you are setting into motion for yourself. All right, I'm going to turn my mic off because I want us to hear everybody. And we're going to begin with our chamber prayer. All right, practitioners, ready? One power, one presence, one divine creative source of all. That one goes by many names and shows up in many forms. But I know simply is God. And I know that God is all there is. In the beginning was God, and God is all. And from its very essence, God created all this made by His divine God, perfect, holy, and beautiful. Because I know there's only one, I know that I am one of them. That the power and the presence of the divine resides right at the heart of my being. It is the truth of who I am. And as I know this is the truth of my life, so as I go on the heart, the perfection of God in action, in motion, set into law right here and right now. And so knowing this truth, I speak my words. I know that each one of us is a power, a place of compassion, praise, and love, grace, and forgiveness for all that is and all that will be. And so I, at this time, invite you to call out that word of God that you are speaking forth into action right here and right now. On the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And what a good feeling that is to know that is happening right here, right now, in each and every person, in each and every life. And I simply give thanks for this knowing. I'm so grateful to feel it, so grateful to see it, so grateful to know that it is happening right here and right now. And I release this word into the law, into the creative mind. Calling it complete, I let it go, and I let it be. And together we say,
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only there for God. No more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
beautiful, thank you. And thank you all for playing along. And thank you, practitioners, for being flexible and making that work well. I knew 3 practitioners and me up here, it was going to be 30 minutes for us to do the prayer wall. So I didn't think anybody wanted to do that. And so now we have an opportunity to support our community financially. We are a 501c3 religious nonprofit. We receive our funding from your generous donations. And so we're happy to accept your check and cash donations here today. And we have several ways that you can give online here, listed on there. You can Zelle, text to give, or go to our website. Kaylee and Kelly will be in the back, except they're going to be busy with books, so I don't know. We'll get some help for you. So Anyway, so let's do a little blessing here. Would you put your hands over your heart? And repeat after me. This gift I give
This gift I give
goes forth from me,
goes forth from me,
does amazing and miraculous things, and returns to me in kind,
and returns to me in kind.
pressed down and overflowing.
Pressed down and overflowing.
What are we singing, Justin?
All I give.
All I give?
Yeah, all I give.
All I give. All right. Words are on the screen. Let's sing along.
All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. To me and blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me, blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. Abundantly, all I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly. All I give comes back to me and blesses me abundantly.
And oh, we are so abundantly blessed. We are so, so grateful for everything that's received here today and for everything that's making its way to us. We know that we are infinitely supplied and sustained by that one power and presence, and we are grateful. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you. Now we have David.
Need a friend, pick up that phone. Nobody dials anymore. Ask Siri to speak dial. Say call David, and I'ma be there. Call me when you need a friend. Yes, baby, just call me when you need me. Call me, I will be there. Call me, pick up the phone and call me. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh, how fun. I told you today was going to be fun. Okay, we have a couple of announcements. First off, we sent out a survey to our members. Last Monday, we've had 18 responses, which is less than a fourth, so let's get on with it, folks. We're going to send out a reminder on Monday if you've lost the link. Please make sure that you do the survey. It's honestly, I think it took 5 minutes, maybe. I think there's 13 questions. It's easy. Please do our survey so that we can get some information. One of the things that's coming through is that there's a strong push for community building. So it's one of the things that we're going to start looking at as our leadership council, finding more ways that we can do a little more community building. So please fill out the survey. Our used book sale is today. I bet you didn't know that. We have made it very easy. After a lot of discussion, we've made it very easy. Paperback books are $2, hardback books are $3. If you think a book should be more than $3, you are welcome to give us more. There's a few things, just a few things there that we think might be $1, so Kaylee and Kelly and I will adjust those prices as well too. So, but you know, look at the books. They're pretty well grouped around the room, so take an opportunity to browse through there. They're only available today. On Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to box them up. On Thursday, Spread the Word Nevada is coming to pick them up. Spread the Word Nevada is a nonprofit that takes used books, sells them on the online resellers, and buys books for kids and gives them to them free. So it's a wonderful opportunity to do that. So take a few moments and browse our book sale after service. Our Sacred Conversations book club is meeting this Tuesday night at, I always forget, 6 o'clock. The book we're discussing is When God Was a Woman. And we'll have refreshments here and a wonderful time to sit together and just explore some ideas around spirituality and so forth. Our fun and games group meets on Friday the 14th. Judy Petit's in charge of that. If you want more information, you can go to our website. Our Zentangles drawing group, I lead that, is on Saturday at 10 o'clock, 10 to 12. We're here about 2 hours. We do a couple of different drawings. Zentangles is meditative art. If you're interested in learning what that is, you do not have to think of yourself as an artist, but by the time you're done, I'm going to guarantee you will. Yeah, I'm serious. Our Walking the Path group is on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. They meet here in the sanctuary. They take the Science of Mind magazine reading for the day and see where the conversation leads. And so it's a wonderful group to explore the principles and practices here at Centers for Spiritual Living. Our Women's Circle meets on the last Sunday of the month, the fourth Sunday of the month. I think there's 5 Sundays this month, at 2:30 p.m. here in the sanctuary. All right, would you stand? Are we singing? Wait, no. Are we singing first, Justin, or are we singing after? I forgot to clarify this part. We're going to sing first, and then we're going to do our benediction. Okay, would you stand, please? I just want to point out, I wrote the opening song, Joe wrote the invocation song, and Justin wrote the closing song. This is pretty good. Words on the screen. Remember, we have hand movements.
On this day, we know God aright, living and breathing eternal life. In gratitude, we live our days. We love thy neighbor in every way. We join together in love and light, knowing that Spirit will guide our lives. We walk the path of the Spirit within. We are God's truth and God's light. We shower the world with our light. We shower the world with our light. On this day, we know God aright, living and breathing eternal life. In gratitude, we live our days. We love thy neighbor in every way. We join together in love and light, knowing that Spirit will guide our lives. We walk the path of the Spirit within. We are God's truth and God's light. We shower the world with our light. We shower the world with our light.
All right, while you're standing, would you repeat after me? There is only one life.
There is only one life.
That life is God.
That life is God.
That life is perfect.
That life is perfect.
That life is my life now.
That life is my life now.
Have a beautiful and blessed week. Stay cool.